Recognize the lies your mind tells you. Your mind is a battlefield. Every day, there's a war going on between truth and lies, between what you're capable of and what fear says you can't do. If you don't learn how to recognize the difference, you'll live your life chained to a reality that was never even true. The first step to stopping negative thoughts is knowing which ones are lies in disguise. Negative thoughts rarely come at you screaming. They come quietly, almost like a whisper. They sound familiar because they use your own voice. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. People like you don't get that kind of life. The tragedy is, because it's in your own voice, you think it must be true. You've got to stop letting those whispers run unchecked. You've got to put every thought on trial. When that negative thought pops up, you need to ask it, where's the evidence? If the only evidence is your past mistakes or somebody else's opinion, throw it out. It's not truth, it's a trap. See, the mind loves patterns. If you've been thinking negatively for years, your brain will automatically keep feeding you more of the same because it's familiar. But familiar doesn't mean factual. A toxic lie can feel comfortable if you've sat in it long enough. That's why it's dangerous to just go with your feelings. When you recognize a lie, don't entertain it for a second. The longer you sit with it, the more it spreads. It's like letting a drop of ink fall into a glass of clear water. It doesn't take long before the whole glass is cloudy. You've got to throw that glass out before it contaminates your entire mindset. Many people think that negative thoughts are harmless because it's just in your head. But what's in your head determines what's in your life. The wrong thought can ruin a day, destroy a relationship, or even sabotage a lifetime of opportunities. Start labeling those thoughts. When you hear "I can't," label it as fear. When you hear "I'll fail," label it as doubt. When you hear "I'm not enough," label it as insecurity. Giving it a label strips away its power. It's no longer this invisible, undefined feeling. It's something you can see for what it really is. Remember, you can't fight an enemy you can't identify. If you just say, "I'm feeling off today," that's vague. But if you say, "I'm dealing with fear," now you know exactly what you're up against. Naming it makes it smaller, and when it's smaller, you can beat it. Your mind is not always your friend. It will replay old mistakes, replay old failures, and remind you of your worst moments as if they're happening right now. You have to remind yourself, just because it pops into my mind doesn't mean it's real or relevant. Sometimes the lie isn't that you can't do something, it's that you have to do it perfectly or it's not worth doing. That perfectionism is another trap. It keeps you frozen in place, so you never even start. Perfectionism is just fear wearing a suit and tie. Negative thoughts also love to exaggerate. One rejection becomes "nobody likes me." One bad day becomes "my whole life is falling apart." When you catch your mind using words like "always" and "never," that's your signal that a lie is talking. The enemy of progress is unchallenged thinking. Every successful person you admire has learned how to challenge what their own mind says. They don't just accept every thought as truth, they filter, they test, they verify. If you don't learn to recognize the lies, your mind will talk you out of blessings you already have. It will convince you that opportunities are too risky, that people are against you, or that your time has passed. None of that is true unless you believe it. So today, start calling out the lies in real time. When they come, don't argue for them, argue against them. And if you ever forget this, remember, your mind is powerful, but it's not always honest. Replace every negative thought with a positive one immediately the moment you catch a negative thought. You can't just leave an empty space in your mind. If you do, that negativity will sneak right back in. You've got to replace it instantly with a positive thought that carries more power. It's like pulling weeds from a garden. You can't just remove them. You have to plant something better in their place, or the weeds will grow back stronger. This is where most people go wrong. They think the goal is to stop thinking negative. No, the real goal is to start thinking positive with so much force that the negative has no room left. If you try to just not think about it, that negative thought will come back 10 times louder. Your brain works in pictures. If I say don't think about a pink elephant, guess what pops into your mind? That pink elephant. That's why you can't just tell yourself, stop worrying. You have to replace that worry with something specific and positive, or it will replay in your head like a bad song stuck on repeat. When that voice says, you'll never make it, immediately answer with, I'm already on my way. When it says, you're not good enough, replace it with, I'm improving every day, and I have what it takes. You don't wait for your feelings to catch up. You train your feelings by leading them with your words. Some days, you'll have to replace the same negative thought 100 times. That's okay. Think of it like going to the gym. One workout doesn't make you strong, but repeated training does. Every replacement builds mental muscle. The more you do it, the easier it gets. At first, your brain will resist. It's used to feeding on negativity like junk food. Switching to a diet of positive thoughts will feel unnatural at first. But if you stick with it, your mind will start to crave encouragement instead of destruction. Here's the truth. The human mind can't focus on two things at once. If you fill it with something good, there's no space for the bad. So when a thought says, this is too hard, start listing all the times you've overcome hard things before. Remind yourself of battles you've already won. Sometimes the replacement doesn't have to be deeply philosophical. It just has to redirect your energy. If you're thinking, I'm tired of this job, replace it with, I'm thankful I have an income while I prepare for my next level. That one shift can change your whole mood in seconds. The faster you replace negativity, the less damage it can do. A negative thought sitting in your mind for even a few minutes can plant seeds of doubt that take days to uproot. Don't give it that head start. Snatch it out the second it shows up and drop something positive in its place. This isn't fake positivity, it's strategic mental defense. You're not ignoring reality. You're choosing the version of reality that builds you instead of breaks you. That's not denial, that's discipline. And here's the thing. The positive thought doesn't have to be about the same topic as the negative one. If you're feeling insecure about your appearance, replace it with gratitude for your health. If you're worried about money, replace it with thoughts about your talents and skills. The point is to shift your mental state so negativity can't keep multiplying. You'll notice something powerful when you do this regularly yourself. Changes automatically. You won't have to replace as often because your mind will start offering you the positive version first. That's when you know you're rewiring your mental habits for good. Remember, you're not at the mercy of your thoughts. You have the authority to direct them. And every time you replace a negative thought with a positive one, you're proving to yourself that you're in control, not your fear, not your doubt, not your insecurity. It's like changing the station on a radio. If you don't like the song, you don't just sit there and suffer through it. You turn the dial. Your thoughts work the same way. If you don't like what's playing in your head, change the station right now. Guard your environment like a fortress. Your thoughts don't just come from inside you. A lot of them are planted by the environment you're in. That means if you're serious about stopping negative thoughts, you have to control what gets in. You can't build a positive mind in a toxic atmosphere. It's like trying to breathe clean air in a smoke-filled room. The people you spend the most time with shape the tone of your inner voice. If you hang around constant complainers, guess what? Their complaints will start to sound like your own thoughts. If you're around people who only talk about problems and never solutions, Your brain will start focusing on obstacles instead of opportunities. Think about it, you wouldn't leave the front door of your house wide open for anybody to walk in. Yet most people leave the door to their mind unlocked, letting any opinion, criticism, or bad energy walk right in and make itself at home. You've got to be more protective of your mental space. That means paying attention to what you watch, what you listen to, and what you read. Every movie, every song, every social media post you consume is planting seeds. Some of those seeds grow into confidence and peace. Others grow into fear and doubt. The question is, which ones are you feeding? Guarding your environment doesn't mean cutting everybody off. It means setting boundaries. You can love people without letting them dump their negativity into your spirit. You can be kind without being a trash can for other people's complaints. Sometimes you've got to limit access to yourself, not because you're arrogant, but because you're protecting your mental health. Not everybody deserves front row seats to your life. Some people are better loved from a distance. Your environment also includes the physical spaces you're in. A messy, chaotic space often feeds a messy, chaotic mind. Organizing your surroundings isn't just about aesthetics. It's about creating a setting where positive thoughts can thrive. If you want to think bigger, put yourself in environments that make you dream bigger. Go places that inspire you. Be around people who talk about ideas instead of gossip. Position yourself in rooms where success feels normal. The more you expose yourself to that energy, the more natural it becomes for you to think positively. Understand this. If you don't take control of your environment will take control of you. That's why some people feel mentally exhausted all the time they're surrounded by mental drainers and don't even realize it. Negative environments don't just kill dreams. They slowly numb you into accepting less than you deserve. That's why guarding your environment is not optional. It's survival. You've got to become intentional about what you allow into your ears and eyes. If a TV show is feeding fear into your mind, turn it off. If a conversation is making you doubt yourself, change the subject or walk away. You're not obligated to entertain negativity. And here's the truth, when you raise your standards for your environment, some people will fall away. That's okay. You're not rejecting them. You're rejecting the energy they choose to live in. If they want to meet you in a positive space, they're welcome. If not, you have to keep moving. Think of your mind as a garden. Every person and every piece of content is either planting weeds or planting flowers. You have to decide which you want more of, and then guard your gates accordingly. You can't stop every negative thought at the source if you're letting negative sources pour into you all day. Protecting your environment is one of the fastest ways to protect your peace, and once you have peace, positivity has room to grow. Use gratitude as a mental weapon. Gratitude isn't just about being polite. It's not just saying thank you when something good happens. Gratitude is a mental weapon, a shield against negativity. It's impossible to be truly grateful and deeply negative at the same time. The mind can't hold those two emotions together. One will always push the other out. When a negative thought tries to take over, gratitude is your counterattack. You can't always stop the thought from showing up, but you can decide what stays. And when you choose to focus on what you already have, what's already going right, negativity loses its grip on you. The problem is, most people practice gratitude only occasionally. They wait until something big happens, a raise, a gift, a lucky break, before they feel thankful. But the real power of gratitude comes when you use it in the middle of a storm, when things aren't perfect, when life is testing you. That's when gratitude shifts from being a nice idea to becoming a weapon. When the voice in your head says, "You're losing everything," gratitude answers, "Look at everything I still have." When fear says, "You can't survive this," Gratitude says, I've survived worse, and I'm still here. Negative thoughts feed on lack. They thrive when you're focused on what you don't have, what you can't do, and what's missing from your life. Gratitude flips the script. It forces your mind to look at abundance instead of scarcity. Sometimes you've got to stop and write it down. Make a list of everything you're grateful for, not just the big things, but the small ones too. Your heartbeat, the roof over your head, the fact that you can read these words right now. The little things add up fast, and the more you list, the harder it is for negativity to find a seat in your mind. When you train yourself to find something to be grateful for in every situation, you take away negativity's main weapon, hopelessness. Negative thoughts lose their strength when they can't convince you that your life is empty. Gratitude also changes your perspective on challenges. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you start saying, "What is this teaching me?" That shift alone can turn a problem into a stepping stone. Some people wait for life to get better before they feel grateful, but life doesn't work like that. Gratitude comes first, then your perspective changes, then your energy changes, and then your situation starts to change. It's not magic, it's focus. Whatever you focus on grows. If you focus on what's missing, you'll always feel lack. If you focus on what's present, you'll always feel blessed. That feeling of being blessed pushes negative thoughts to the background. When you practice gratitude daily, negativity has a harder time sneaking in because your mind is already occupied with appreciation. It's like trying to plant weeds in soil that's already covered in healthy, strong plants. There's no room for them to grow. Gratitude also works like armor. People can say something hurtful, but if your heart is already filled with thankfulness, their words bounce off. Negative situations can happen, but they don't stick the same way because you're anchored in appreciation. Even when things go wrong, gratitude lets you see the hidden blessings, the lessons learned, the strength gained, the relationships strengthened. That means you never lose completely, because even setbacks leave you richer in some way. If you want to stop negative thoughts in their tracks, pick up the weapon of gratitude every single day. Use it first thing in the morning, use it in the middle of your struggles, and use it before you go to sleep at night. It's one of the most powerful mental defenses you'll ever have. Speak life over yourself daily. The words you speak to yourself shape the world you live in. Every day, you are either speaking life into your future or death into your potential. Your mouth is a steering wheel for your mind, and if you keep speaking negative, don't be surprised when your thoughts follow the same road. Most people underestimate how much their own voice affects them. You hear yourself more than you hear anyone else, so if your daily self-talk is filled with doubt, criticism, and defeat, your mind will treat it as truth. Over time, those words will become your identity. That's why you can't leave your self-talk to chance. You have to intentionally speak life into yourself, even if you don't feel it yet, especially if you don't feel it yet. Feelings follow words. If you wait to feel confident before you speak confidence, you'll be waiting forever. When you wake up, before you touch your phone, before you scroll through social media, declare something over your life. I am capable. I am worthy. I am growing. These aren't just cute phrases, they're instructions to your mind about how to think today. Negative thoughts thrive in silence. If you don't speak against them, they'll grow louder. But the moment you start speaking life out loud, you interrupt their cycle. You replace their voice with your own voice, one that's filled with truth and power. Some people think affirmations are silly because they've tried them once or twice and didn't see immediate results. But speaking life is like planting seeds. You don't see the harvest right away, but growth is happening underground. The more you repeat it, the stronger the roots. And here's the thing, speaking life doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing to focus on solutions instead of problems. If you're struggling financially, instead of saying, "I'm broke," say, "I'm learning how to manage my money and create more income." The situation hasn't changed yet, but your mindset has, and that's the first step to changing your reality. Your brain believes what you repeat the most. If you constantly tell yourself you're unlucky, you'll start noticing only the bad breaks. If you constantly tell yourself you're resilient, you'll start noticing how you bounce back from challenges. Your words train your focus. Don't just speak life in the morning and forget about it. Speak life in the middle of the day when stress hits. Speak life at night before you sleep so your subconscious can work on it while you rest. Fill your mind with positive instruction until it becomes your default setting. Some of the most successful people in history had one thing in common: they talked to themselves, not in a desperate, frantic way, but in a focused, intentional way. They told themselves who they were, what they were capable of, and where they were going, long before it showed up in their lives. If you've been speaking negatively over yourself for years, it might feel strange at first to say, "I am strong," or "I am successful." Your mind will try to reject it. That's normal. Keep saying it anyway. You're not lying, you're leading. When you speak life, you're not just fighting today's negative thoughts. You're building a mental shield for tomorrow's battles. You're preparing your mind to respond differently the next time fear or doubt tries to creep in. And here's the part people don't always realize: when you speak life over yourself daily, you give other people permission to see you differently too. The energy you carry shifts, and people respond to that energy. So don't wait for someone else to encourage you. Don't wait for the perfect situation to start talking positively. Open your mouth today and declare who you are, where you're going, and what you will accomplish. Speak life until life becomes all you know. Focus on what you can control. Release the rest. One of the fastest ways to drown in negative thoughts is to spend your energy on things you have no power over. The truth is, a lot of what keeps you up at night is outside your control: other people's opinions, the past, the weather, the economy. And yet, we let those things rent space in our mind like they're paying the bills. When you focus on what you can't control, you give away your peace. You hand your emotional state to circumstances you can't change. That's a losing battle every single time. The more you obsess over it, the more powerless you feel, and the more negative thoughts multiply. The first step to breaking that cycle is acceptance, not approval, but acceptance. You don't have to like what happened, but you do have to acknowledge reality. Fighting against things you can't change is like trying to push back the tide with your bare hands. It wastes your energy and leaves you frustrated. Once you accept what's out of your control, you free up mental space to focus on what is in your control. And that's where your power lies: in your actions, your attitude, your decisions, your habits. That's the ground you can actually stand on and win. Ask yourself this question daily: is this mine to control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, release it. Not later, not after a week of worrying now. Release it before it starts to poison your mindset. Negative thoughts often come from replaying old moments you can't undo or predicting future disasters that may never happen. But the only place you can actually make a change is in the present. That's where your strength is, and that's where your focus should be. Think of your mind like a budget. You only have so much mental energy in a day. Every bit you spend on what you can't control is energy you don't have for what you can control. It's like paying rent on a house you don't even live in: pointless and costly. Sometimes focusing on what you can control means letting go of the need to win every argument. You can't control if people understand you. You can't control if they agree with you. What you can control is your peace, your response, and your boundaries. And here's the truth: when you stop chasing control over the uncontrollable, your mind starts to quiet down. Those constant what if Scenarios lose their grip because you've taken your attention away from them. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting what you can't change control you. There's a big difference. Caring without control just leads to stress. Caring with control leads to solutions. Negative thoughts love chaos. They thrive in the noise of trying to micromanage everything and everyone. But when you narrow your focus to what you can actually influence, the noise gets quieter and peace has room to grow. Every day, remind yourself, I can't control the wind, but I can adjust my sails. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. You stop wasting energy on storms you can't stop, and you use that energy to steer yourself toward better waters. The more you practice this, the lighter your mind feels. You start to realize how much of your mental stress was self-inflicted, caused by carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. So make the choice every time a negative thought pops up about something you can't control. Redirect it towards something you can. Train your brain to be a builder, not a prisoner. That's how you take your power back. Train your mind like you train a muscle. Your mind is no different from your body if you want it strong. You have to train it. You can't expect to stop negative thoughts if you've never built the mental muscle to push back against them. Just like physical strength, mental strength comes from resistance. Every time you challenge a negative thought, you're doing a mental rep. Too many people treat their mindset like it should be naturally positive without any effort. But you wouldn't expect your body to stay fit if you never exercised. So why expect your mind to stay strong if you never train it? If you're not intentional, your mind will default to the easiest path, and the easiest path is usually the negative one. Training your mind starts with consistency. You can't just do it when you feel like it. The most successful, resilient people have daily mental workouts, reading uplifting books, listening to empowering messages, journaling their goals, meditating, or visualizing success. Think about it, you don't get six-pack abs by doing 100 sit-ups one day and then quitting. The same is true for your mindset. One positive thought won't change your life, but thousands of positive thoughts, repeated over time, will transform how you see everything. And here's the thing, training your mind isn't always comfortable. Just like physical workouts, it requires you to push past what feels easy. You'll have days when negativity feels heavier than usual, but those are the days that grow you the most. You can't just train when life is calm. You have to train in the middle of challenges. A muscle doesn't grow without resistance, and a mind doesn't grow without opposition. Every difficult season you go through is a chance to level up your mental strength. One of the best ways to train your mind is to set challenges for it. Memorize something inspiring and repeat it daily. Start your mornings with gratitude lists. End your nights by writing down 3 wins from your day. These are small but powerful reps for your mental fitness. The more you train, the faster you recover from setbacks. Just like an athlete bounces back quicker from a tough workout than someone out of shape, a trained mind bounces back from disappointment faster than an untrained one. Negative thoughts will always try to creep in, but a trained mind doesn't panic, it responds. It's like muscle memory. You've practiced positivity so much that it becomes your default, even under pressure. And just like the gym, you need the right environment for training. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking in healthy ways, not people who feed your weakness. Read content that expands your perspective. Feed your brain with material that makes it stronger, not weaker. Don't expect immediate results. Mental training is a long game. The seeds you plant today in your thoughts might not bloom for months, but when they do, you'll realize every small effort was worth it. Your mind is your most valuable asset. If it's weak, everything else in your life will suffer. But if it's strong, you can handle challenges, navigate change, and create opportunities others can't even see. The truth is, you're either training your mind or letting the world train it for you. And the world, if left unchecked, will train you to fear, to doubt, to settle. That's why you must take control of your own mental conditioning. So treat your mind like the most important muscle you'll ever have. Train it daily, feed it right, and push it past its limits. Because when your mind is strong, no negative thought stands a chance. Stopping negative thoughts isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about building the kind of mind that can handle life when it's not. You've got the power to do that. You've got the tools: recognition, replacement, protection, gratitude, affirmation, focus, and training. These aren't just tips, they're weapons for your mental survival. Every single day, your mind is either building you or breaking you. The difference between the two isn't luck, it's choice. You can choose to keep letting negativity run the show, or you can choose to stand up and take control of the conversation happening inside your own head. You've heard it said that your life follows your thoughts. That's true, but here's the good news: you get to decide what kind of thoughts you follow. You're not a prisoner to the first idea that pops into your mind. You're the gatekeeper. You decide what stays, what goes, and what grows. And yes, it's work. You're going to have days where the battle feels heavier, where the lies sound louder, where your old habits try to drag you back. But those are the days you have to fight the hardest, because that's where you'll break through lives. When you start taking control of your thoughts, you'll notice something powerful. Your mood changes, your decisions improve, your energy shifts. You stop walking like a victim and start moving like a person who knows they're in charge of their destiny. Negative thoughts will always try to visit, but they won't be able to stay. They'll knock, but you won't open the door. They'll whisper, but your voice will speak louder. And over time, they'll show up less and less, because they'll know they're not welcome here anymore. So from this day forward, protect your mind like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Feed it truth, feed it hope, feed it vision. Speak life until life becomes your normal. And when those old negative thoughts try to creep back in, smile and say, "Not today." Because you've built a mind they can't break, a spirit they can't shake, and a future they can't take. This is your life. Guard it, direct it, speak into it, live it on purpose, and never forget the power to stop negative thoughts has been in you the whole time. Now it's time to use it.